At 72, Telly Savalas admits, "She was the only one who could do that to me." Telly Savalas was born on January 21, 1922 in Garden City, New York, as Aristotle Telly Savalas. The son of Greek immigrant parents, his childhood was spent within a diligent household that adhered to tradition, discipline, and toughness, character traits that later influenced his career. Although his path to Hollywood was not an easy one, Savalas was the personification of determination, holding a variety of jobs and even serving in the U.S. Army during World War II before seeking higher education at Columbia University, where he earned a degree in psychology. His early professional life involved work for the Information Service of the U.S. State Department, and he soon found himself being attracted to acting and broadcasting and eventually landing on the stage and screen. Telly Savalas first got a true start in professional acting in 1959 when he was part of an episode of Armstrong's Circle Theater called And Bring Home a Baby. This show, which was broadcast on the CBS network, specialized in hosting dramatized accounts based on actual life events, and it provided Savalas with the ideal way into television. Telly, at this point in his life, was still not well known, and the industry was extremely competitive, but this first role highlighted his native charm and screen presence, traits that would come to be hallmarks of his future career. The break signaled the start of a transition from small screen roles to becoming one of Hollywood's most recognizable and iconic visages. It was here that he initially came to grasp the rhythms and requirements of performing on camera, forming the type of discipline and professional assurance that would carry him through his busy career. Between 1959 and 1967, Savalas gradually compiled an impressive television resume as a guest star on many of the popular series of the time. These ranged from gritty city dramas such as Naked City, medical and psychological series such as The 11th Hour and Breaking Point, to crime-focused series like The Untouchables, The Fugitive, and The FBI. He also appeared in Western heroes like Bonanza and stylish spy games like The Man from UNLE. Each role presented him with opportunities to try different types of characters ranging from tough criminals to complex supporting characters, and showed his skill to hold attention even in brief appearances. Through all this, Savalas sharpened his craft and learned to express intensity, charm, and quiet menace, skills that would become his hallmark later on. The range of roles also established him with producers and directors, creating a reputation over time as a dependable and adaptable actor who could bring good things to any project he became involved in. Among his initial regular roles, Savalas played Brother Hendrickson on 77 Sunset Strip, a character on the hit private eye drama series. This series, a staple of late 1950s and early 1960s television, centered on two suave private investigators solving crimes in Los Angeles, combining suspense, intrigue, and occasional humor. Playing Brother Hendrickson allowed Savalas to demonstrate his ability to balance drama with subtle comedic timing, a skill that would later enhance his larger, more complex roles. Also, he guest starred in Acapulco, an NBC adventure drama series that investigated exotic locks and global intrigue, again expanding his on-screen background and demonstrating that he could handle a broad diversity of narrative forms from urban drama to action-oriented adventure. Savalas's dedication to honesty and his attention to detail were glaringly obvious when he portrayed Pontius Pilate in George Stevens's 1965 epic film, The Greatest Story Ever Told. To play the part, he made the drastic decision to shave his entire head, thereby producing the now famous bald look that would come to be one of his most recognizable signatures. This was not only an example of his physical dedication to his performances, but also of a readiness to undertake radical visual changes in the interest of character truth. As Pontius Pilate, the central figure in the narrative surrounding Jesus' crucifixion, Savalas had to convey authority, moral dilemma, and seriousness, demonstrating that he was capable of performing challenging, big-screen film roles as well as TV work. This performance paved the way for him to shift from being a television actor to becoming an established figure in big-budget films, marking the beginning of his ascendance to stardom in Hollywood. Savalas's acting career began quite late in life, but once he penetrated the industry, his ascendance was consistent and remarkable. Early in the 1960s, He became frequently cast in a supporting role within film and television work, typically in tight or villainous parts that showcased his heavy voice and intense gaze. His work in films like The Young Savages, 1961, and Birdman of Alcatraz, 1962. The latter, in which he received an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor, helped to establish him as a credible actor. These performances highlighted his capacity for depth and humanity, even in hard-boiled or ethically ambiguous characters. Savalas further diversified his screen presence in films during the decade with memorable turns in The Dirty Dozen, 1967, Kelly's Heroes, 1970, and On Her Majesty's Secret Service, 1969, where he notoriously portrayed Ernst Stavro Blofeld, James Bond's most legendary nemesis. It was, however, television that truly made Savalas a household name. In 1973, he took on the role of the charismatic New York City police detective Theo Kojak in the CBS crime drama Kojak. The show, which ran for 5 seasons until 1978, cemented his status as an international star. With his ubiquitous lollipop, trendy clothes, and catchphrase, "Who loves you, baby?" Savalas forged one of the most long-lasting characters in the history of American television. KJC was not only fun to watch, but also pioneering in its hard-hitting realism and socially responsible storylines, dealing with drugs, corruption, and poverty. The part made him the recipient of an Emmy Award as well as a Golden Globe, cementing his position among the most highly regarded actors of his time. Savalas reprised the role in many successful productions even after the show ended. Television films, demonstrating that the character had become an integral part of his heritage. Aside from acting, Telly Savalas also had forays in music. His deep, calming voice made him a surprise recording star, and he had success in Europe with his spoken word and singing albums. His cover version of If by Bread, sung in his own inimitable style, even made it to #1 in the UK singles chart in 1975, highlighting the range of his appeal. There was something special about Savalas that allowed him to connect with people not only through the screen but through the voice, which had a warmth that was so different from his frequently hard-tough persona on screen. Telly Savalas wed his long-term girlfriend and college sweetheart, Catherine Nicolites, in 1948. The relationship had strong roots in their youth, with the two having known one another for a considerable amount of time before they chose to make the leap into marriage. This marriage was reflective of the social and cultural norms of the day, where stability and the desire to have a family together after education and young adulthood was paramount. Even though they had a strong relationship and history together, the marriage had issues that ultimately could not be resolved, and it ended in their divorce in 1957 after almost a decade. This initial encounter with love and separation probably profoundly affected Savalas's emotional strength and personal growth, influencing his opinions about family life and relationships in the subsequent years. In 1960, Telly Savalas married for the second time to Marilyn Gardner, a creative drama teacher who shared an interest in arts and education with Savalas's burgeoning interests in entertainment and performance. Their union gave birth to 2 children, and they established a family life where creativity, discipline, and personal drive coexisted. The two made do with the challenges of Savalas's burgeoning career as an actress and in Hollywood, struggling to reconcile public life with private family time. Although they shared a common commitment and the happiness that came with their children, conflicts and personal issues arose along the way, leading eventually to their divorce in 1974. This time in Savalas's life showed the intricacies of balancing a celebrity career with raising a family, and gave evidence of his ability to love intensely even when things are not easy. In 1984, Telly Savalas wed his third wife, Julie Haviland, a new chapter in his life marked by stability and renewed dedication. The couple had 2 children, further cementing Savalas's place as a father and underlining his family focus in later years. This marriage was a reflection of mature comprehension of partnership founded on experience, mutual respect, and common objectives. Haviland was a supportive presence as Savalas went on to continue his acting work, including his iconic work in television, as well as offering a loving home setting for their children. Their time together further exemplified Savalas' staying power to keep significant relationships within his life and demonstrated the unfolding of his personal life, growth, resilience, and seeking happiness with a family he deeply loved. At 72, Telly Savalas, the larger-than-life actor with his signature bald head and growly voice, opened up in a rare moment of candor about the one person who was really able to reach him on an emotional level. "She was the only one who could do that to me," Savalas acknowledged, his voice a blend of reverence, nostalgia, and unmistakable fondness. The acknowledgement came as a surprise to many fans because Savalas throughout his career had been perceived as tough, no-nonsense screen presence, both on television, playing the legendary role of